Oh, it's fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Reusse Unchained.
Well, Patrick, the Vikings didn't play, but I don't know if you caught the end of that Bears game.
Oh, yes, I did. It was, I was going to say, let's start with that Stevenson character today, which is everything that's wrong. The NFL acts like there's nothing wrong with it. The NFL does have some problems. They're known as idiots. Now, it's a hard game to play, so you're going to attract a lot of idiots, right? You're, the toughest guy in the school and, would be doing other activities. But that's one of the damnedest things I've ever seen. This jackass down there taunting the fans, and they're all running the play, and he's still taunting the fans, and then he tips the ball to the guy for the touchdown. He can't be working today, can he? He's got to be released.
He's still there from what I've heard. He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Week or the NFC in like week 1, too. It's incredible, though. The tweet that went viral that fans were taking of him yelling at the fans like, yeah, you stupid.
But here's the other thing. What is wrong with the Bears? They let these guys run wide open down the field, 3 of them. Nobody's contesting anybody. And then they got the most mobile, even though he's a little bit banged up, they got the most mobile quarterback in the world. And they got 4 fat guys trying to chase him. By the end, they weren't chasing him. He could do anything he wanted to. And he just unloads it. And then apparently Stevenson also was the guy who hit the ball to the receiver, right?
Yeah, he jumped in front of the play.
Instead of knocking it down or knocking it the other direction, he tipped it behind him.
But the video that went out, the best part is Stevenson is taunting fans as the Commanders players. They're at the 20.
Yeah, I was going to say they're already more than halfway to the end zone, and this moron is jumping around. I think it's great. I think it shows what these jackasses would rather show off than play football. I have 5 minutes before that, I tweeted out, it should be a 15-yard penalty when a receiver catches the ball for a first down and then gets up and points.
Justin Jefferson would be in a lot of trouble then. 15
yards for acting like a 2-year-old. That's what I'm saying. 15 yards for acting like a moron. Okay, you score a touchdown, you can dance. Okay, that's it. No more pointing. Let's get rid of the pointing. Let's get rid of all that crap. Can this be a cutting-edge point for the NFL when all these old crusty bastards get in their infractions meeting at the end of the year and tried to get rid of this crap, 12, 15 years ago, and then they gave into it because TV likes it, I'm sure, right? TV likes the dancing and the strutting and the gritty and all that nonsense. And, okay, touchdowns. You want to jump in the stands? That's fine. That only on touchdowns can you act like an idiot. This guy, I think it's a great cutting-edge point for the NFL, though, that somewhere in Goodell's office, they have to be embarrassed today, don't they? Or do they like the fact that it's going to be...
I don't know if they are.
Are they like the fact that it's going to be a video that's seen 10 million times around the world? So.
I think it's a Bears problem. If I was his teammate, I would have punched him.
Yeah, they should have. They should have.
Punched him.
When's the last time we didn't? You know what Mace did at the Sun Bowl, right? Remember? Mace sent those 3 guys home on a bus, right? Or was it just one guy? He sent somebody home on a bus.
Yeah.
Was it running? The guy did something goofy, getting ready, and he sent him down to the bus depot. They should have sent this idiot down to the bus depot, gave him a Greyhound ticket, and said, "We'll see you in 2 days."
I've always liked that idea. Just don't fly the guy home.
Yeah. Just don't. You're not on the plane, buddy. Here's a bus ticket, or get yourself home. If you're not there by practice Wednesday, you're suspended.
Although, when my guess is Matt Eberflus is fired after the season, this will be a reflection on
yes.
a complete lack of discipline. I mean, he's a defensive guy. You
Yes.
know? What are we doing? And the play before that Daniels completed the pass to set up
Yeah.
the Hail Mary pass. What are we doing there?
Yes.
You
They
know?
got time. The clock has stopped. Why don't you call a timeout and say, okay, I thought Detroit, Campbell of all people, came up with the footprint for what you do in that situation. Make them get rid of the ball.
Right. Right.
Blitz,
Don't let 'em-
even if it's Daniels, make them get rid of the ball. Run 6 guys in there. Don't give them time to have those guys get to the end zone, for God's sakes.
And he can complete any pass he wants other than that
Yes.
pass.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if he completes a 15-yard pass and you tackle the guy, who cares?
Yes, that's right. But it's well, the only thing that bothered me about it was I was not in the company of the Neal brothers. I was once in the company of Lavelle and his brother Larry watching a Bears game, and they're insane, okay? I mean, Lavelle's sort of insane. Brother Larry, his kid brother, great guy, is goofy. He's nuts. I bet he couldn't go to work today. Poor Larry. It had to kill him. I mean, I don't know if they're whatever Allery's used to be. Did they change the name when they reopened it? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think
Still
it's
Allery's.
I think it's
Allery's. And I don't know if it's still the Bears bar or not, but that had to be fun when that happened.
Can you imagine the column from there?
Because everybody said the Vikings are now tied for last in the Central with at 5-2. But meanwhile, great event too in Green Bay for them. Green Bay wins, but Love's hurt, and they're gonna. It looks like this will be a month, not a week like it was last time.
Is that the
right?
report?
2 months. It says it's going to be a while. It says it's going to be a while. What was it?
Groin.
Yeah.
They initially said a groin. He left and did not. He just left. He didn't come back.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. So
yeah, the Malik Willis will run the ball 90% of the time thing is not going to work all the time.
That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
But what a division.
Oh yeah. I mean the Bears stunk yesterday though. Somehow defense they were good defensively until they screwed up the game. But they they did have. I mean, let's not just put this on this idiot Stevenson because they were on a 1-yard line and decided to give it to William the Fridge Perry, and
correct.
they didn't, and they never got the ball in his gut, and they fumbled on the one trying to be overly cute. And so that should be on the coach's resume too. Even if he is the defensive guy, when they tell him what they're going to do, he should say no.
No, you're not.
We're running it.
Yes.
We're running it, and then we're running it again.
What do you think there's a chance that Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, who I think is going to get a job for sure now, gets that job, the Bears job
for next year? Yeah,
for next year.
Sure. Yeah,
because Caleb, you can work with Caleb.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot.
He's getting his improvement from opening day when he was missing guys like by 15 yards. He is an athlete, there's no doubt about it.
He's got different throwing mode.
Got the gun,
there.
Yeah, that side armor that he threw was pretty phenomenal. That was like, that was like one of those old time quarterbacks who's been around forever. Who can, Mahomes. That was Mahomes like that one. So,
yes.
But by the way, they're still unbeaten, right, Chiefs?
Yeah.
7-0 now, 6-0 or 7-0. Did they? Have they had a bye already? I think they already. I think they already had their bye.
I think you're right. I'll look.
I was seeing something on them, though, at the start of the season, some kind of on TV NFL preview. Mm-hmm. This is how they always play the end of the season without pressure on them because they always get off to these, their records through October are like phenomenal. They're never 5-2. They're always either 6-1 or 7-0 or something like that. They're never
7-0.
Yeah, they never get their backs to the wall as far as making the playoffs or anything because they'll have a little stretch here when they don't play as good, in November, but the fact that the Chiefs always get off to this great start is kind of shows how smart Andy and his coaching staff are, that they're ready to roll when the season starts. He plays his people in exhibitions more than most coaches do, I think. Mahomes played, a quarter or 2 quarters or something. But Mahomes played some. It's not like he didn't play him at all.
And Kelsey, didn't play well until yesterday, but it didn't matter. Like that's the thing is we always get concerned about these individual Chiefs players. Like, oh my God, he's not playing well. But they still win games.
And they lost 2/3 of the receivers that they want, so then they bring in Hopkins. And
they made another trade today with the Patriots, I guess, for I think a defensive player.
Another receiver?
No, a defensive player.
How about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets? The Patriots don't want to win, and they still beat the Jets. Unbelievable.
This is
what a mess.
It's great.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It was the best Sunday the Vikings have had in 3 weeks, and they didn't play.
Yep.
Love got hurt. The Bears puked all time.
Yep.
And all the Viking fans hate Aaron Rodgers, and they bring him in Devontae. They're going to get me Devontae. I need Devontae, and they still get beat by the Patriots, who want to go 2-15 so they can draft, so they can be at the top of the draft.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Yes. So, anyway, it was
incredible day. The finish of the noon games is from red zone from 2:55 p.m. to like 3:20 was unhinged. Everything happened.
Before this Sunday, they were having a lot of blowouts. I was looking it up last week. One thing we've always talked about is the secret of the NFL is no matter who's playing, you don't know who's going to win with 2 minutes to go. And for weeks there, they were having half of them are blowouts. It was more than normal. But how about Detroit, though? At halftime, they're leading 35-14, and Goff has passed for 28 yards. They only made like 230 yards all day or something, right?
Yeah, and they scored points at will, basically.
Yeah, well, their kick returns and their turnovers, and but wasn't Tennessee like really highly rated defensively?
Yes,
they give up 50. Now they're still highly rated defensively because they didn't give up any yards.
Right.
But they got beat 56-14. Wasn't it 14, I think?
Are the Lions going to the Super Bowl?
I'm afraid if they stay healthy.
Think about how that would resonate in this town.
Oh God. It'd be great. It'd be great. For Detroit. But it's like they're not like the Cubs, right? It's because
they're not lovable. Because they haven't been lovable.
Because it doesn't, it's not 162 games of anguish for the Lions fans. It's 16 or 17 a year. And they aren't, you're right, they're not lovable. They've never been lovable. They've been comically lousy.
Correct.
And the fact that this cartoon character is the guy leading the turnaround is amazing to me. It's because he's a goofball. And he's, You know what the trouble is? They'll be in the Super Bowl. They'll be 4th and 3 at the 50, up 5 points, and he'll run a fake, and they'll end up, and the other team will go down, and then the Chiefs will go down and score a touchdown. He'll do something stupid in the fourth quarter.
San Francisco last year.
But I'll tell you what, he's got him playing, man. Oh,
well,
damn.
Yeah, and Jared Goff.
Yeah. He did nothing yesterday, but he didn't have to.
Right. But, here, he was phenomenal.
By the way, they had 2 tight ends. I said this on Twitter. They had 2 tight ends catch touchdown passes yesterday, and neither of them was T.J. Hawkinson. Who did we give them? Who did they draft with T.J. Hawkinson? Do we know?
Oh, that I don't know, but they replaced him with Sam Laporta, who also
Sam Laporta.
was.
And now they got another one, Brandon Wright or somebody who's pretty good too.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing there. Like that.
Oh God, yes, yeah, because they were not going anywhere. But they were second rounder, was it? Second rounder,
it was a second round pick. Yeah, it was a second round pick, and they didn't want to pay TJ, which turned out to be smart because Laporta, I'm sure is still on his rookie contract.
We gave, after his first year here, we gave TJ a nice contract too, didn't we?
Yeah. So he would end his holding last year in training camp
that's right.
When he claimed he was dizzy and could not practice. And then suddenly the inner ear problem cleared up miraculously.
Yes. And how many games he played last year? He missed quite a few, didn't he?
No, because he played.
He played.
He got hurt late. He got hurt like right before Christmas or on Christmas.
He didn't have much of a year, though, did he? What did he do? I mean, I'm thinking last year. What did he do? I don't have anything in front of me. So
I think he was okay. Yeah.
Did he catch 80 balls or something?
Let's see. Because he had such an impact when he got here after that trade.
Oh, yeah.
That first game he had, 8 catches?
It's not his fault that Kirk threw him the ball on fourth down in the playoff game.
He had 95 catches last year.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Five
well,
touchdowns.
He might.
Yeah,
he's going to be there next week against the Okay, here's my real complaint about the NFL. You can't find a better game to flex tonight than the Colts and the Vikings? Well, what in the hell is that? Why is that a Sunday night game? What's the attraction?
Because the Vikings were 5-0 when they did it, and or 5-1, and sure as heck they lost again.
But I mean, they must have a terrible slate of games. That's who, Fox, right? Is that Fox? That's Fox, right?
What's
Sunday night game?
No,
that's NBC. Okay, but the NFL must have a terrible slate of noon games or something Sunday this would be the game you had to flex. Do they so if you got deals with the different networks and CBS has got games they like, and you can just steal any one of those and put it at night and give you some other teams or something.
I think they can protect one a week. I think Fox and CBS can protect a game a week.
Oh, okay.
That can't be flexed out of.
So
they'll keep what they consider a top game.
Must be a very unimpressive schedule next week or something.
And they flexed out of Jaguars Eagles.
Yeah, well, I can see that, but to me, there's just maybe Jefferson does good numbers. I don't know. Maybe they. I mean, everything they do is good numbers, but
they probably didn't foresee the Vikings being swept twice in 5 days.
Yeah, beat twice. Did the Rams win again yesterday? The Rams play.
Rams
they play.
Rams play the Vikings.
That's right. What am I thinking of? Harbaugh won a game. I saw that. Huh?
Yeah.
Is he still coaching? He was having heart problems.
He's got a atrial flutter or something. He's had it for a long time and gets it fixed occasionally. No, he was fine. He was fine. They the Chargers sort of get lost,
Yeah.
They're not a real
popular, they do.
They're not real popular now.
They're the secondary tenant in the building. Yeah. They're like the Clippers used to be with the Lakers,
Yeah, exactly. And that's not a market that exactly embraces having the National Football League either.
No, it never. I mean, it is amazing to look back that, what was it, 20 years L.A. didn't have a team? Unbelievable.
Raiders left the Coliseum in 94, is that right?
Yeah, and St. Louis came back in 10 or 8, 9 or 10 or something like
but
that.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
It was a long time. But, yeah, the Chargers.
Well, when was that? It was the year that we were playing at TCF Bank Stadium because the Vikings were playing at TCF Bank. Whatever year was that?
15.
Well, hell, so it's only a decade ago because the dogged reporter from the St. Louis paper, what was it? The football guy that
Jim
was
Thomas.
there for Jim Thomas was when Kroenke went to the men's room up there, they had security guards, so Thomas couldn't run in and talk to him because he wouldn't talk to the St. Louis press when he was moving the team.
I was there for that game. It was hilarious.
What a jackass that guy is.
His goons, Kroenke's goons would go stand outside that poor men's room.
Yeah, yes.
And no one could go in because he wouldn't talk. It was incredible.
The world's cheapest new stadium, whatever bank is.
They moved. So they left in after 94. They went to St. Louis, and it looks like they moved back in 16.
16, yeah, 20 years. And when did the Raiders leave L.A.? When did they go back to Oakland?
I might be wrong about that then. Yeah, Raiders. Hold on a second.
Well, they won. They won They won a Super Bowl in '80 and another in '83 in different towns. So,
I'm seeing if I can find it here. They were in L.A. from '82 to '94.
Okay, so they were NFL went 20 years without a team in Los Angeles.
And both left
the greatest marketing league of all time without a team in Los Angeles. That's amazing.
And fans loved it because they got all of the games with no blackout restrictions. So like they'd get Fox and CBS games.
Yes, and it's
and the Chargers were perfect in San Diego. If they could have got it, just got a stadium there.
Yes, San Diego. Well, California, you want a stadium, you pretty much got to build your own.
Yeah,
that's the state legislature isn't going to help you. Nobody else is going to help you. They might get you some free land and a road, but the Intuit Dome, the new Clippers thing, that's $2 billion out of Ballmer's pocket, and this one is what? The football stadium's $5 or $6 billion out of Kroenke's Walmart fortune. So every time you go to Walmart, you're supporting the LA Rams. Do you know that? Okay.
That Intuit stadium that Ballmer built is I've seen a couple of pictures. It's nuts.
It's incredible. Yeah, and the Lakers. What's their jealousy factor now? Because they ruled the. They ruled the Staples Center, which is something else now, Crypco. Yeah. But they ruled it like with an iron fist. The Clippers would have to play at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and then they'd play a hockey game there that night. And the Kings had second call, and the Clippers, 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday if they had to, because they had three major tenants. And they treated them like dirt. And now... But I did see a sign on Twitter. I think I mentioned this the other day. You want to park out there by the Intuit Dome? $70 to get in the lot.
I saw that.
If our youth with the kicks had to pay $70, you think we would have had as much debauchery in the Met Stadium parking lot in the 70s? I don't think so.
The problem was the free parking they provided.
Free parking. My favorite was when they had mounted police out there trying to drive them into the stadium to watch soccer. So we got a big game here, though, coming up on the station. What time? 8 o'clock Tuesday night?
Oh, with the Loons?
With the Looney Tunes.
Hold on, yeah. Hold on a second. I got my Star Tribune right here. Hold on, I'll open it up. I'll flip to the schedule. One of the most important parts of this paper. The schedule says that the Loons play at 8 o'clock on Tuesday in Salt Lake, and then 8 o'clock on Saturday night
here
at home against real Salt Lake again.
And you don't play for months, weeks, and now you got 2 games in 5 days, so it's kind of weird. But it's the playoffs. Now, you would know this. I asked somebody earlier today.
Yeah.
We don't have overtime. I read that.
No.
But we do have penalty kicks.
We go to penalties.
But do we do that only in the decisive game, or do we do it each game?
Each game.
Oh, okay. All right.
Game. So they want to, I think for TV purposes, end these games quickly.
Sure. Do you know that my plan, way back when with the kicks, people enjoyed, the shootout was new then, right? I think the NASL was probably the first to start imposing that because over in Europe they still play to ties. They play to ties here now too.
Yep.
But I always said you should have the shootout before the game, and then guarantee the fans a shootout. And then if it ended up a tie, whoever won the shootout before the game wins.
Ooh.
So that would have been a hell of an idea. Because the team that knew they were going to lose the shootout would have none of this messing around. You'd have to be pressing the action.
Look at you.
I should have been a soccer commissioner, but
You could replace Don Garber if he's still the commissioner.
Plus, you would have a limit. You could only play 20 different players during the season. If I was at 20, maybe 22, okay? But you could not have 9 different guys that you didn't have when the season started playing that nobody can keep track of who the hell's on your team.
No one can keep track of them regardless. We still don't know who's on this team. We don't have any. I can name you 1978 Kicks roster more than this thing.
Okay, I thought when they first got here, I remember we had the transfer window. Okay. Once. We now got 9 trading deadlines.
Who's our Alan Willie?
Yes, we know. I can still name way more kicks all time than I can loons. But hey, there's going to be 19,000 there Saturday night, all fired up.
They're going to be freezing their tuchuses off with an 8 o'clock
Is it going to get cold? Is it going to get cold?
Well, I would imagine. I'm just saying.
Today's highest. Today in the winter, in our autumn paradise, is going to be 75.
Oh, I should turn my heat down then. I got cold and turned it on. Dawn's going to be very upset with me. Let's see on Saturday. High of 56, low of 40.
Yeah, it'll be a little chilly there that night.
It's going to be chilly at night.
Won't be as chilly as it was when we had to take the guy from Honduras into the hospital and cut off his leg or something.
I think we took 2 or 3 of them in. It's a February soccer game.
Yes. We had to have the home court advantage against hated Honduras. That was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
So you're wild. Fantastic road trip and still 2 more games, right? Or one more?
No, one more. They lost to Philadelphia. Didn't play well for the first time on Saturday. Pittsburgh, the Flower, going back to Pittsburgh for his final career start.
They'll have to let him play then. He was okay against Tampa Bay, huh?
He was good.
And he had a good game.
Yeah. He played well.
That was only the second time he played, was it? Right?
He hadn't played in like 12 days.
And it's still, no matter what happens tonight in Pittsburgh, a hell of a road trip, though. Man alive.
Oh, it's been great.
Unbelievable. How you go to Florida, play those teams back-to-back, and beat them both. Amazing. Yeah. Beat them bloody. They beat the Panthers, 5-1?
Yeah, they came back against the Lightning, but they spanked the Panthers.
Yeah, 5-1. Panthers, little complacency down there with the Panthers.
I don't know what their deal is.
Are they? No, they won the Cup and everybody went crazy. Are they packing them in now in Florida because they're the defending Cup champs or not?
That's a good question. I will say the Wild game now these seats are probably sold for through season tickets. There were a lot of empty seats, but that doesn't mean that the tickets aren't sold.
It could also be a lot of people haven't come to Florida yet. They probably have They probably have all these transplants who come down and
and the hurricane probably chased people out for a while.
Oh God, that's right. That's right too. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Now, did Miami?
Think about I know a lot of Minnesotans who go there, who stay home for Thanksgiving, who stay home through Thanksgiving to do the family stuff, and then they go down and they miss Christmas and all.
They might
that
not
stuff.
leave at this rate, Pat.
No, we're having those tax dodgers living in Florida are going to be moving back here for the weather the way things are going, man. Don't tell me this is a drought. This is heaven. This is heaven. The little brown grass, who cares?
Yeah,
it gets brown in the fall anyway, Judd.
We don't qualify. Once you hit October, can you call that a drought?
No.
Like a drought to me feels like you got heat and you got, now it just feels like fall.
And don't worry about it. We're not going to have another snowless winter. Right. Last year was. When you go back to this time a year ago, now we did have a lot of rain this summer, but this might be the greatest weather year in the history of Minnesota. First, you had no snow, and now you got the greatest fall ever. You leave the house. I have not. Now, I'm a late jacket wearer anyway. I like to wear a sweatshirt at maximum. But I haven't even attempted to look in my closet to see if I got a jacket in there or not. It's fantastic. It's great. Love them. Love it. Love it.
Winter was a win. Fall so far has been a win. Summer, I don't think was a win, but I will take.
It was a lot
but I
of
will take
rain,
this.
but a lot of rain. So,
I'll take this.
Judd, I need some help here.
Yeah.
The World Series is being played. And it's the Dodgers and the Yankees, and I'm sure they're doing okay ratings-wise because it's the Dodgers and the Yankees, and they're okay in the New York area and there's the L.A. area because there's a lot of people, right? And the game one certainly helped, I'm sure, to make people watch game two. But I'm trying to eventually here write a piece on what happened to baseball. Why is it no longer a national obsession? And of course, point one is, and I mentioned this the other day, baseball's gotten slower while society got faster. But what else is going on? What else is going on? TV doesn't want it because of the age of the audience, but how did the audience get this aged? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think the problem is that sports like football, which have been coming, but like football, is perfect.
16 games, 17
society.
games.
Once a week. It's all about drinking. Like if you think about it, the pace of football, the leisurely pace of baseball used to perfectly suit the country.
Yes.
And now our rush to, now football's the perfect sport.
Yeah, it is. But the baseball has gotten so regional that it's just like the NHL.
Correct.
It's regional. And if your team's good, and of course the other thing is, in hockey, you put 16 teams in the playoffs, and you don't know who's going to win, right? There's no favorite, right? It's that thing. But here's the other thing, though. The NBA is getting these huge TV contracts, yet their national games don't do good numbers. It's a big thing that they're leaving TNT, and that's a disaster, and
streaming,
blah blah blah. But something about it must be all demographic driven that the NBA is managing to get these huge TV contracts and baseball isn't. I don't get that because the NBA finals will do what, 8 if they're lucky or something, about the same as baseball.
Yeah,
so
depends on the teams. But
it does.
But baseball has no flair. Basketball's nothing but flair, and plus they have basketball captures excitement by free agency.
Yes.
By trades, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
Baseball's problem. Free agency starts, no one gives a crap. Nothing happens.
The great thing about basketball is they have this day where you can announce trades, but they're announcing trades for 10 days before that are just rumored, like the Jimmy Butler. I remember the town. I was in Florida. The town's going nuts. They got Jimmy Butler, but we don't make it and then you get to do it all over again on July 2nd when you're,
the draft is the stupidest thing of all time.
Yeah.
When guys have to go put on the hat of a team they know.
It is. I mean, the NBA does incredible amount of stupid stuff, but it doesn't seem to make any difference. Yeah.
But I also think their time of game is optimal, right?
Yeah. They're up to 2.5 a lot of times now,
But it's
other night, I turned it on the other day. I happened upon, I think it was Toronto's game before they came here.
Oh,
not only were we,
99 fouls.
69, right?
99.
99? Was it?
There was something like 99 free throws.
Free throws, yeah.
And 60 some odd fouls. Yeah.
Tony Brothers' team called 66 fouls, 99 free throws. And the Toronto guys who were winning a game, I was listening to them, were disgusted that their team was, every time down the court, they were getting to shoot free throws.
That game took, I think Jim Pete on Saturday on the Raptors Wolves said it took 3 hours to play that game. So
yeah, it was just ridiculous. If Tony Brother walks in the arena, I don't know when they get out refereeing assignments, but if you find out like at 3:00 in the afternoon, that he's refereeing, put your tickets on StubHub for half price real quick so you don't have to go watch him. He's an idiot. We give Foster a lot of hell, but Foster's not as bad as Tony because Tony thinks he's a dictator. So, but
well, it's like your guy Hockley.
Yes, yeah, right.
He loves a FaceTime.
I obviously didn't like the face mask missed in the Vikings game last Thursday, but I liked that officiating crew.
Oh, did you?
Their thing was, how can I not call a penalty here instead of how can I call a penalty here? So now they probably got reprimanded though, right? And I will say it was a bad look to say we didn't see it when everybody's showing these still photos of one of the guys sitting there staring at it. So that's not good.
I'm with you though. I still think that they should have an edict that if you see something small, let the play stand.
Ignore it.
I'm with
these
you. I'm
pre-snap.
so tired.
I was talking to you about this the other day. These pre-snap penalties that they're nuts about now, unbelievable. Is that allowed?
God, yeah.
Who was the left tackle or the right? Was it one of the tackles a couple of years ago in a big playoff game? It was on there for about 2 weeks, and he backed up before the snap about 55 times and never got called.
Chiefs.
Who was that guy? I think it was a right tackle.
I don't remember.
For somebody, but
it was the
some
Chiefs.
of the infractions committee must have gotten together after that one and said.
And in watching the games on Sunday, it's clear that they told them, we want these called. Because it's not just a Vikings thing. We're seeing them all over the league.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Why? The
point of
it's
emphasis,
not like,
Pat.
Huh? Point
I
of
said
emphasis.
Point,
yeah, I hate.
That's the worst term in sports.
Now, I forgot to ask you, were you tailgating before the Gopher game Saturday?
No, I took the bride to the St. Thomas Gopher hockey tilt.
Oh, really?
At the X.
The Tommies were hanging in there until we put them on the 5-minute power play, right? The 5-on-3.
Hey, the Tommies in both games scored the first goal. That I'll give them that. After that, it was not pretty, but they scored.
But the Tommies, did we deserve the 5-minute major? I turned it on after the.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes. It was a headshot.
It was okay,
Yeah.
and then right after that, they already were on a penalty when they
correct
gave them the headshot. So
yep, they scored a goal.
I would guess the Tommies playing the most talented hockey team in America. 2 men down was not going to work too well.
But
right?
It goes back to your question. Why doesn't the men's basketball team? It makes no sense.
What crowd did they announce? About 10? They thought they were going to have 10. I was at the football game.
Yeah.
Around 10.
Around
yeah.
10.
I mean, it's amazing. And it's a Tommy home game. They were all fired up for the home game because they had no people at the football game. The students were off campus, and they don't have rivalries anymore. They announced 1,300 for the football game against one of the better opponents in that league they're playing in. But everybody was saying, I got to go to the hockey game tonight. They were all going to the hockey game. Yeah, I talked to Phil Eston for a while before the game. I got over there early, the AD, and they just can't figure it out. He said, we'd want something. We'd want something to go play, but it wouldn't be 40 or 50 or 60,000 or 80,000 like they're paying North Alabama and people like this. They're paying more for some of these non-conference games than they're bringing in ticket sales.
Why is it up to the coach, though? That's my question.
I don't think it is. I think this is the. I got a pretty good relationship with Thorson, and he won't say why it is, but I don't think it's them. I think it's Coyle for some reason. I don't know why. Although he's letting them play in other sports, I don't know why. And maybe it is. Maybe Ben Johnson is that paranoid. But as I keep telling Thorson and others, if you lose to St. Thomas on your home court, even though they're pretty good in basketball, you're going to go 4-16 in the Big Ten and not fool anybody. So why? What is the problem? I don't get it. And B, but by the way, you should also be playing at least 2 out of the 4 Dakotas, right? At home.
Yeah.
Give them 20,000 instead of 60,000 for somebody who's going to draw 12 people. You know what happened when Patino that year, when he had his terrible team? Mm-hmm. Remember, they had 2 Dakota teams come in and beat them, and that's where they were still getting some fans, but they had good crowds for those games, and they got beat, and they were embarrassed, but they were terrible that year too. So it didn't make any difference. You were terrible, so that was Patino's horrible year. So anyway, right. It just makes no sense. I don't know, but then again, let me say this. St. John's basketball coach is Pat McKenzie. Mm-hmm. His dad used to run the Packers, basically, and St. Thomas, Johnny Tower, who I love, the coach, they're playing Crown, and they're playing North Central. Probably because they don't have to pay him more than about $2,000 a piece. I don't know, but McKenzie told me he'll play them. If they want to play, they'll play them. Instead of having 1,000 people, they'd fill that arena to see it, and but they'd have to maybe give them a little more money. But I think everything that Tommies are trying to do with this Division I stuff, even though it's a farce in football, would probably damage them more losing to St. John's than the Gophers losing to St. Thomas.
I think St. Thomas and the Gophers in men's basketball would be great.
Yes, and you can, make it a doubleheader. Have the women play them at 6 and the men at 8.
It's more embarrassing, in my opinion, if you lose to a hyphenated school than it is if you lose to St. Thomas, too.
Yes.
It's not like these are so. Hey, before we get done, tell me about your friends at the Valley Auto Group and why folks should go there to buy their next car.
Excuse me, but Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. We got a lot of veteran salespeople out there. You're not going to come in and talk to some 24-year-old kid who's going to try to sell cars for a couple of years before he goes somewhere else and works. Jim Paul, you're working with good veteran salespeople. And I did that for years with my guy Leon. He's retired now, but Leon was great. He'd come up, you'd call up. I remember I called up and I said, Leon, I need a convertible for Florida, and I don't want to pay a lot of money. He got me one of those Toyota Solaras for $6,000. I got down to Florida. My wife turned down $15,000 for this car. So anyway, that was not one of her best decisions. But that's the kind of service you can get out there at Jim Paul and Brett Paul. And I've been buying new cars from them also for 12, 13 years. Last 5 or so cars I've had. And they're out in Apple Valley. They're out in Hastings. The Valley Group of GM dealers. Right now, interest rates are low. The factory rebates are back for the Buicks. 4 varieties of SUVs. I just was in our parking lot out here. 20 cars in the parking lot. I was the 20th car in the parking lot. I was one of 3 sedans, 17 SUVs. That is the new America. And Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers has 4 different kinds of Buick SUVs, from the little ones to the bigger ones. And they got Hummer EVs, if that isn't good enough for you. So, hey, low interest rates, factory rebates, high stock. Everything's going good. Check them out in Hastings and Apple Valley. The Valley Group of GM dealers.
Awesome. Final thoughts before we wrap up here. You got anything else?
Final thoughts. Why do we get mad that the Yankees and the Dodgers are playing each other? It's like we think that they think like this happens. It's always the big markets. No, it's not. They haven't played since 1981. The Yankees have won 4, I think, in that time, and the Dodgers have won 2 in the last 43 years. 23 different baseball franchises have won the World Series since the last time these two teams played. And football, I think I said this before, 18 teams have won the Super Bowl in the same amount of time. So it's not like they're always winning. The Kansas City Royals have won 2 in that time. So as many as the Dodgers. Now the Dodgers are probably going to win it this time. And the other thing about the Dodgers is the second one they won, 88, and then 2020 was the pandemic 60-game season. And I got to say, Friday night was pretty damn good when Freddie hit that home run. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Saturday's game, Yankees kicking up a little. You know who's going to get a lot of money and deserves it? Soto.
Oh God,
he doesn't swing at balls. He doesn't. You know how he's so good and so quick that he doesn't have to. You know, he doesn't have to. You can throw him a breaking ball that's really good after about 3 fastballs, and he's still going to take it. No, if it's not a strike, his eye is fantastic. I don't know where's he going to end up. It's not going to be here, probably.
I would guess the Yankees, Mets, or Dodgers.
He would not come here because it's too far. It's not money. It's just he didn't want.
Well, the Twins will kick the tires.
He wouldn't like hitting right center. He's like Correa. Correa hates our right center field too. So.
And we have a new Mr. May. Congratulations to Aaron Judge. I'd love if Steinbrenner was still alive. It would be great.
Oh, he'd be killing him.
He'd be killing him. Annihilate Judge.
His stats. I had no idea his postseason stats were that horrendous.
He's Mr. May.
Yeah, he is. I don't think he should be the MVP. I don't know. I'd go with the shortstop, but Judge is going to win, but I'd go with Bobby Witt. Well, Bobby Witt's a fantastic player.
And Judge's regular season stats were great.
They were phenomenal, but, take away those 12 pop flies he hit to right field.
I just miss George. I miss George.
Oh, God, I do too. I mean,
Aaron Boone would have been fired 2 years ago.
I wrote a column about, oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah, he would have been fired in mid-game. He would have been, he'd be ripping Judge, man.
Judge would be 8th right now.
Yeah, yes, right. He would
demand he may be moved to 8th in the order.
And if he's got a charitable foundation, George would try to sue it for not, using his. What we forget about the full extent of George's feud with Winnie. He hired some gambler, Howard Spira?
Yes.
I think that got him suspended, didn't it?
It was the best thing to happen because the Yankees replenished their farm system.
Yeah, Gene Michaels came in and ran it and didn't get every highfalutin free agent that was out there who ended up failing him. But he was fun, man. It used to be when I covered games there. Big games, more important games. If you were in Yankee Stadium, first of all, the press box was the New York Post would have 3 guys at home games, the Times, everybody. But the game would be over, and half the press corps would wait for George to come out of where he was watching the game. The other half would go to the clubhouse, but half of them would wait for George to try ask him questions to agitate him. So
yeah, he makes Jerry Jones, who does the same thing, look like an amateur.
Oh God, yes, he'd get. Well, the other thing is his suite, as in the old Yankee Stadium, was on the same level as the press box, and it was glass enclosed. So you could look every time something bad happened or embarrassing. They'd all stand up and look over and see what George was doing, see how he was reacting.
Oh,
and
great.
But one thing about George, as a great man once told us, you never find out how much good he does for people.
No,
he mightn't be insane, but you never found out. Yeah. Well, Kid Can Blumenthal.
Yeah.
They might have blown up a reporter in a car but nobody ever said all the good things he used to do for people. So anyway, I miss him. Somebody asked me the other day if I missed him, and I said, I think I've decided I do miss him.
Oh, God, yeah. Well,
even though the last 7, 8 years weren't the same, he was, you could agitate him, but he couldn't hear you, so it didn't make any difference. So anyway.
I miss the column.
I do too.
From like the 90s when it was just it was just so good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was well, you go back far enough though to the 80s when it was still a lot of scoops and shorter stuff. As he got older, he would tape all this stuff and the column would become these long quotes which were worthless. But he was still filing it, with that twist, that hometown twist, the defending the hometown, which everybody liked. But you look back at George, at him when he was breaking national scoops in the 70s and 80s, it was a completely different guy for sure.
Oh God, yeah.
But we just had his anniversary of his death, right? Not some October 18th or 18th, October 18th. It was during
the Vikings-Falcons game, that one in which Kirk was just absolutely awful. That Chad tweeted out Sid's death. So yeah.
Yes. And then they got when he broke his hip, who beat him 30-0? Remember they had a game in the Dome, Baltimore or somebody came in here and just handed him they just played terrible.
Yep.
And Sid was in the hospital with his broken hip because he fell down like on Friday or Saturday.
Yep.
And Bobby Hagan showed up with a signed football that he said that the team had signed after the 30-0 ass kicking, and that was the funniest thing of all time.
I think it was that Bills game, right?
Yeah, it might have been. Whatever it was. I think they got shut out. I think it was like 30-0 or something. And he showed one of the great pranks because by then you knew he was going to live. Right. Every other 95-year-old who breaks a hip was going to die, but he was going to live. But Hagan showed up with the football signed.
So good.
Yeah, it was a chuckle, to say the least.
All right, sir. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.